welcome to LOA Today. Walt Thiessen, Thomas Wells, and Alyx King here on this Friday, January the 18th, 2019. It's 8 a.m. in New York, 5 a.m. in Los Angeles, 1 p.m. in London, Sydney, Australia is at 12 midnight. Wherever you are in the world, thank you for joining us for another episode of LOA Today, your daily dose of happy. And I am happy today. I keep telling myself that this morning, despite the fact that I just had to reset my Facebook password. But, these things work themselves out, and we finally got there, finally got the thing going. I have this kind of crazy setup to make all of these feeds work all at the same time on my computer. And every once in a while, I have to clear the cache and the cookies because Facebook loses its cookies. So. You know how it is. Sometimes you just
clear the cache and the cookies.
That's right. No, but it's all good. It's all good. And in the interest of passing along information, I'm going to give you some news that sounds on the surface like it isn't happy, but actually it's good news because we know about it and we can do something about it. Among IT personnel, the news came through yesterday that there was a major data dump by some hackers that contained 770 million email addresses that could potentially have been compromised. So we're recommending to everybody, you don't even have to do anything about looking into it or whatever. Just change your email password. Change it to something complex. The general rule of thumb is something at least 12 characters long, something that isn't like words or names or something like that, nonsense characters, AXQR96 exclamation point, that kind of thing. And once you change that, you'll be fine. So it doesn't even matter whether you're on the list or not, just, kind of prophylactically, just make the change and you'll be good. And that's the good news. The good news is once you change your password, you're good. You don't have to worry about all that junk anymore. So there it is, right?
12 characters is a lot of characters.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. It takes forever to type them,
I can't remember 7 or 6. Yeah.
Well, you don't have to necessarily remember them because email programs are good at remembering them these days. But just change all your devices at once and you'll be okay. Very simple.
So I should quit using my name for everything.
Yeah, that's not a good idea. Not a good idea. Yeah, that's a great way for a hacker to get in. Boom, just like that.
See, and I thought nobody would think of that. That's just the way I think,
So I should change my password from the word password, right?
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Yeah, you really don't want that one. Yeah, a few people have used that one, so it's not all that unusual,
Try my password. My password 1.
Right?
Oh, God. Well, that's the beauty about this. When we can laugh at it, it doesn't seem like that big of a deal. To be honest,
if they haven't drained all your bank account, then you're good, right? That's the only thing that would make it kind of make a bad day,
Yeah,
right.
That's true. And I should also mention, we've gotten to the point now in the development of IT that it's probably a good idea to just set a period of time every few months or so, change your password on your email account. Just make it a pattern, because that way, even if stuff happens and you don't hear about it, you don't happen to tune in on a day where I'm telling you that there was a big email hack, you're still covered.
Yeah.
Because
but you should do that for all your credit cards and all your bank accounts too, right?
Yeah, you should.
That's a lot of hassle. I'm telling you.
That is a lot of hassle.
It's actually more important.
I hate passwords.
Believe it or not, it's actually more important to do it on stuff that you use regularly. So, like, if there's one credit card you use a lot, that's the one you need to do it with more. Or your email address, you want to do it with that. That's the kind of thing that you want to change. If there's something that you use it so irregularly that it's not a big deal, you can wait longer on that. I mean, you should still change it, but it's much less likely to show up on a list somewhere. So it's kind of rule of thumb that way. The other thing that we're going to start seeing a lot more of is what they call two-factor authentication, which is where like you have a password that you enter, but then you also get a code to your phone, and you have to enter the code, and that double pronged thing, so to speak, increases the difficulty for hackers immensely. So that's why two-factor is going to become really, really popular. And plus, we're going to actually get to the point pretty soon where passwords aren't even going to be used anymore. So you don't have to get upset about the fact that the passwords are getting harder and harder to deal with, because I mean, pretty soon it's going to be like facial recognition. For some devices, it already is, or eye recognition or stuff like that. So don't sweat it. They're working on it. Things are continually getting stronger on the security side too. For the moment, just change passwords. Very simple. So, how you guys doing? I mean, Tom, I haven't talked to you a week. Alyx, I've talked to twice this week. I mean, this has been Alyx week, right? It's been great, but Tom, but Tom, I haven't talked to you in a week. How you doing? I mean, is there anything new going on in your life? Any wonderful things to attract or whatever?
I'm really getting close to having my group coaching program ready to go, and I've developed some new angles on how I want to do it, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Creating what's called a World Cafe environment, where you develop you have little tables in the room, and people sit down at a table of 4, and you have a topic, and then after 20 minutes, 3 of the people at the table get up and go to another table, and you have this going on throughout the room, and it's a way to have this vast interchange of ideas take place. One person stays as host of the table. Anyway, I know it's probably hard to understand all that just like that, but it's a way to interact effectively in groups and to get a group synergy going so the collective field of the group is tapped into. So I'm excited about that. Now, maybe not everybody would get excited about that, but I do.
Well, it sounds to me like speed dating.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, I guess. It's speed thinking, speed conversation. No, it's not really meant for speed. It's just meant for exchange of ideas. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've never done speed dating, but
me neither. But I've seen it on TV.
Okay,
so what's going on with you, Walt? Anything exciting?
So how is this speed? I'm still stuck on the speed dating thing. How is setting up a coaching program like speed dating? I'm missing that one. It just
I was talking about the rotating of the tables.
Oh, okay, the rotating of the tables. Oh, okay.
Yeah, going from person to person. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes some sense. I guess that's good.
Yeah.
But what's going on with me is, I am finding myself being more and more committed to doing my morning routines and my routines throughout the day, my processes. I'm doing longer and longer mirror exercises each morning. I have my little vision video that I put together, and I actually started working on improving it today. And throughout the day, I'm trying to take more time to just kind of stop and do some appreciating and do some feeling good. So, I mean, that's probably the biggest news. It sounds small, but on the other hand, it's huge, as we all know.
It is.
Mm-hmm. So that's...
So you seeing changes in your life that you're happy about?
I can't say that I can point to, here's this thing that's manifested that I've been really wanting to have happen, but I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it to be better. I find that my mood is better. My ability to stay in that high-flying disc is better. So that, to me, is the victory. And that's what I keep concentrating on. That's what the big improvement is. Because I know if I just keep staying on that, it's going to all turn into the stuff that I really want it to turn into. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how about you, Alyx? What's new in your life?
Well, I actually want to take time out to say happy birthday to Nasha today.
Happy birthday, Nasha!
Happy birthday, Nasha!
Yeah,
all right.
She's turned 40 today.
Woohoo!
So I'm very excited.
Fantastic!
So young.
I know.
See, these things are all relative.
Yes.
Yeah. To me, that's so young. I'm so jealous.
He's thinking back to that many years ago.
That is a long time ago.
Well, it's still ahead of me, so I'm lucky.
Oh, girl, you got it going on. I'm telling you.
Oh, you guys are...
But other than that, no, same old. Just living life, loving it.
That's good stuff. That's what you got to do.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Weren't you having a big party or something last time we talked? No.
No
Seems
big
like
party.
You were having something at your house.
Oh, I was going to my BFAM's house to see his baby.
Oh, maybe that was it.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I did that last week. She's adorable. Cutest thing ever.
Did you have some great question for us today?
Actually, I'm trying to deal with the fact that I just had to change my Facebook password, so I can't even see the feed right now of comments, and I'm trying to talk with you guys and fix that at the same time. So actually, I don't have a great question to draw up, so to speak. So I'm going to turn to you guys. Like Alyx, have you a question we can address that will kind of get the brain cells going this morning?
Yes, I do. I want to pick up where we left off yesterday on what do you think is good? What steps are good to take when you're not feeling your best and you want to get on a higher vibration?
That's a good question. That's really good.
I would say yes. That's my answer. How about you, Walt?
Tom, I don't think you grasp the scope of this particular approach.
Yes, I do. I'm keeping it simple, Walt.
Keeping it simple, okay. The KISS principle.
Just say yes.
Just say yes. Okay, I got it.
Say yes to your happy. Say yes to your possibility. Say yes to the moment. Live in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in this
that's
case,
what I keep reminding myself.
Or in this case, just make jokes in the moment, because that's how you get yourself into a happier place, right?
That's right. That's right. Marijuana's legal in Colorado, and so we joke about.
What a reaction! I love that reaction.
Oh my god!
I love that.
Random
reaction.
fact number 1.
Well, I mean, I was on a conversation with somebody the other day, and just cracking up for about an hour and a half. It was just great. It was just so much fun. But I'm not always like that. But I like it when I am like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's really wonderful to feel happy. So I'd say that's probably the main answer. If you're not feeling good, get happy.
Yeah.
It's true.
That's easier said than done sometimes.
No, but it's true. It's true. I mean, that's what we're all aiming for. That's what we're all trying to do. So, yeah, I agree with that. I can also mention that.
The question is, how do you get there?
Well, I was describing this morning. I've increased the amount of time that I spend on my processes. And it does work. It is making me happier. Or more precisely, I am able to reach for higher levels of higher vibrational levels. And in the process, that feels happy. Interesting thing about happy, too, by the way. I was, how Tom in the back of Asking It is given this list of the 21 steps on the emotional guidance scale. I was looking at it to get a sense of, what are some of the unexpected anomalies or, aspects of it that you don't really think you would normally see there. And one of them is happy is not at the top of the list. Happy is on number 3. Which is really
And the very top is what, ecstasy or?
It's actually no, it's not the drug. No.
Oh,
you guys have drugs on the mind today. You guys got to stop this. I mean, really.
No, you're the one that said it.
It's all Tom. It's not me.
No, I live in Colorado. It's Colorado's fault.
It's not my fault. It's not my fault.
They make you use cannabis here. It's now
They make you.
Everybody has to use it once a day. And the whole state is getting so happy. It's ridiculous. So.
Well, it's legal in Massachusetts now, so.
Yeah, well, wait till they pass a law like they did in Colorado that you have to use it.
And everybody has the munchies and goes to the grocery store. Okay, so.
Yeah, right. The grocery store is pretty fun now.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, Walt. Let's get
this
back
bit
to
of
being
insanity
serious.
brought to you by your local cannabis growers. Oh, jeez. Now, happiness is actually number 3 on the list. Enthusiasm, eagerness, and happiness are number 3. Number 1 is actually 6 different names. Or not names, but words. Joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, and appreciation. And I was actually who was I talking with? I think it was Cindy I was talking with the other day. And we noticed that gratitude isn't on the list.
Really?
They don't like gratitude.
Yeah, they don't. They prefer the word appreciation.
Abraham doesn't.
Yeah.
Abraham believes gratitude is something that comes about when you're being thankful that you dodged a bullet. You know, it's like you're, God, I'm so grateful that it finally rained after all this drought. Or I'm so grateful that my check came after I couldn't buy food for 2 weeks. You know, so that's gratitude.
Or
But
there's also
I don't totally
concern.
agree.
There's also the concern that if you're focusing on gratitude so often, gratitude is taught to kids particularly as, well, you really ought to be grateful. You know, like there's something wrong with you, you know?
Yeah.
But nobody ever says, well, you really ought to be appreciating. So that's why appreciation is on the list and gratitude isn't. But still, it's not.
That's funny. They got 6 things in the top.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all tied for first, I guess. And the one the one that I was talking about with Cindy, which I thought was really interesting, was knowledge. Knowledge being at the top of the list.
Yeah.
That's an interesting choice. And I think Cindy and I figured out why knowledge is on the top of the list. It isn't just general knowledge. It's knowing how to apply the law of attraction as a deliberate creator, and it's knowing who you are. It's knowing the essence of who you are, that we are all source energy. We are spiritual beings having a physical experience, you know, all that kind of stuff. That's the kind of knowledge they're talking about. And it's knowing that, you know, it's all going to be okay. And when you look at it that way, I guess it makes sense. But when I first saw it, I said, geez, that's kind of an interesting choice. Yeah. But to answer the question, the answer is do more processes. Do the processes longer.
Yeah.
Put more heart into them. That's what I've been doing, and it really is making a difference. You know, I'm improving my mood. I'm even putting up with your jokes, so I'm doing really well.
Whose jokes?
No, not mine, because mine are golden.
So our mine are kind of lame? Is that what you're saying?
You got dad jokes. It's okay, Tom.
I left the pronoun vague on purpose. That way it could be either one of you.
But I want to know what number 2 is, because here we've got, you know, number 3 is...
number 2? Number 2 is passion.
Happiness reminds me of joy a lot. I have a hard time knowing the difference between happiness and joy.
Yeah.
I guess happiness means you're just, you know, you're happy, but you're not joyful. You know, it's like joyful is bigger, right? Or joyful is more unconditional happiness.
Okay.
But it's a fine hair split. So what did you say number 2 was? Passion?
Passion, yeah. Passion is, and that kind of makes sense, because they've also talked about how if you're not feeling joyful and you find you're not in a high vibration state yet, just going for passion can kind of break through barriers. You know, you don't have to be in the high vibration state. Just start feeling passion, and it'll just lift you right up. So it makes sense.
Passionately depressed. I'm so depressed. But that's not the kind of passion they mean.
You might define it that way. I mean, I can't honestly say I've ever experienced. You know, like I'm passionate about being depressed.
I can't even deal with Tom today.
Well, I didn't even do any cannabis either. So you're lucky. You're lucky. Sometime I should come on just for an experiment, because it's legal in Colorado. I could actually come on the air and I wouldn't violate any laws. Walt might not like it though. White Walt?
Well, you don't know that, because we broadcast all over the world.
Oh, so the Saudis might take us down, yeah.
Well, so might the Oklahomans. I mean,
well, there's that too. No, you better be careful who you put in that category of non-stoners, because
it's pretty easy to know which states are definitely against it, and that's one of them. There's
only a few. There's only a few left. There's so many there's over 40 now that have made it legal. Yeah.
Well,
it's crazy. So we're going to become a nation of potheads.
Not me.
No.
Yeah, not me either. Sorry.
Not interested.
Not me either.
Not interested at all. Yeah. I left that behind 40 years ago or more, a long time ago.
Okay, so we better help our audience and ask some really meaningful questions.
That's probably a good idea, yes. Well, that
instead
was
of just
pretty
laughing.
I mean, it was silly, but it was the response that you were giving was very silly, and silly was good. But it was a good question. How do you pick yourself up? How do you get yourself into a better place? So I got to give Alyx props for that. It's
interesting that that's been Esther Hicks' answer a lot. She says, just get happy. Abraham's thing, just get happy, and watch what happens. And Boy, I've told that to a lot of clients, like, because that can become a whole conversation with a client. Like,
oh, sure.
Well, how are you not allowing yourself to have a good time? Where do you like keep yourself in the headset that you have big problems?
Yeah.
Do you just keep repeating to yourself that, something is wrong. I have a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or something's wrong in my past. I've got to fix it. That's a lot that's how I've sabotaged myself the most, I think, in my life, is believing that I have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than asking myself, is that a belief I want to keep?
Isn't that true? I mean, it really is true, because as we try to learn to be deliberate creators, we kind of set ourselves up without realizing it. And it just kind of, it kind of sneaks its way in. So, yeah.
The belief that something's wrong?
Yeah, that something's wrong, or just the habit of looking for something. Like I was noticing during my mirror exercises today, one of the things I like to do is talk about how I'm getting resistance blocks out of the way when they come to my awareness and so forth. And as I said it a few times, and I realized, wow, I'm programming the idea of resistance blocks into my mind. Now I thought I was actually doing something good by saying, yeah, let's get that resistance out of there, but no, not necessarily.
But just by saying it.
It's more about how I feel about it when I'm saying it, but
yeah.
I could see how that kind of starts to turn around and starts to kind of head toward a downward spiral. So
that's why I was reading Seth, and they were saying, don't do any processes we tell you for more than 5 or 10 minutes a day, and then after you do them, completely leave it and don't think about it anymore. And even though the process is completely positive, like you spend 5 minutes thinking, like closing your eyes and visualizing the thing you want in your life. And they said, but during that 5 minutes, get everything else out of your mind. Don't let any room for anything other than that thing you want, and just see yourself or say the words of you doing it. If you can't visualize it, just say, I'm on my yacht.
I'm on my yacht.
Whatever it is, And then they said after that, drop it. Don't go longer than 10 minutes ever, because it tells your subconscious, it tells yourself that you don't have it, and that's why you're trying hard to get it. Mm-hmm. So therefore, if you're like always thinking of what can I do to get myself to finally overcome this difficulty, then you're building up the difficulty.
Yeah.
You're keeping it alive by thinking about it so much and trying so hard to overcome it. That strong message to your subconscious that you've got a big problem.
That's the truth. Well, I finally got my my password straightened out on Facebook, so I can see what people are commenting, and lots of commentary going on. I don't see any questions per se as I'm going through this, but people seem to be enjoying the conversation, and they're sharing comments about what their take is on some of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Nasha wanted to let you know, Tom, that passion to her is wearing her Nikes and running all the way to Europe from Pakistan.
Wow.
Nice.
That's passionate, I have to say.
That is, she did that?
Well, that's what she's saying.
That's
Pakistan? What she's saying that passion means to her.
Well, that is passion, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's really passionate. So,
but she is young. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's great.
Well, that's also the kind of point I was making, that, you don't want to talk about, even when you're doing your mirror work, you don't want to spend a whole lot of time on blocks and resistances. You want to turn it into, energy is flowing and feeling good and that kind of thing. And that's what I was trying to remind myself of. Well, that's kind of what she was doing. Nasha was expressing stuff in terms of what she would love, not necessarily what she wants to end, but what she would really love. And that's the right way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a good thing. So good question, Alyx. Really good. Excellent.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's see. What else can we do for a question? How about...
I've got a couple.
You have a couple? All right, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Well, unless you got one.
Not yet. Go ahead. I'm still looking for mine.
This is similar, I guess. What's the most effective way or ways to allow abundance to flow into one's life?
Yeah.
If you want abundance, monetary riches, all kinds of abundance, what's the best way to let it just flow into your life? I guess it's the same answer, right?
It pretty much is. Yeah.
Just say yes.
Just say yes.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
That's so much better than the other campaigns. They're all about don't say no, right? Or just say no, rather.
Yeah.
Which is probably the dumbest. I never really understood the thinking behind it. I mean, I do, but it's like, why would you want to go around saying no all the time? Don't even take into account the fact that in deliberate creation circles, we know that no doesn't actually mean anything. Just why would you want to say no all the time? You know, where's the advantage of that? It's kind of like saying, give up your habit, kick your habit. You can't just kick a habit. It doesn't work that way. The human brain needs to have something to replace it with. So
yes.
That's how Nancy Reagan used to do it, though. She could pull it off.
Well, Nancy Reagan...
She's the one that came up with it.
Yeah, and it didn't work.
Didn't she?
Or the Betty Ford Clinic, that
one
worked.
of her writers.
But the stuff that Reagan tried didn't work at all, and that was the point. It doesn't work to just say no. Just say no is actually disastrous. So, anyway, just wanted to make that point. I think it's better to say yes. So I agree with you. I agree with you, Alyx. Just say yes is definitely the better answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so appreciation, writing down the things we appreciate. I'm doing that every day now at 5 a.m. I'm writing down lists of things I appreciate.
You've always been
I'm really
a journaler,
enjoying it,
haven't you? I mean, for a long time since I've known you, you've been big into journaling.
I have, at any given time, I've got 5 or 6 going, depending on an area of my life that I need, that I'm working on. So, or, a career thing or something. But, I enjoy that. Yeah, I do. What can I say? Does it get me anywhere? I don't know.
Really?
No, I think it does do a lot. I did recently, I guess it was now about 6 months ago, I lit a big bonfire and burned about 15 of them. That was fun.
Wow.
I mean, I did it in the fireplace, yeah. I wanted to let go of a whole lot of the past because I don't like thinking that there's something in all those journals that I need from my past. I more and more want to bring everything into the present, as much as I can. And so I look at everything in my life all the time like, do I still want to hang on to that?
Yeah.
'Cause,
I'm the same way.
Are you? Well, that's good.
Hey, we got
we
got our first question today, and it's tied directly into what we're just talking about. Sarah's raised it. She says, I realized today that LOA worked. It worked it the way that I feared. I used to have a regular dream that my teeth would fall out, and I'm catching them in this dream. And recently, one of my rich teeth has come out, and the dentist tried to put it in 3 times and failed. So for years, I have thought about this and feared it happening, and here it is happening. How do I help my situation? I mean, it's hard to stay positive when you're so worried.
That's an interesting question.
So I'm sorry to hear that your tooth fell out, but it's a good question. Thanks for raising it, and let's see if we can try to help you with that.
I think that the first thing that I recommend is to make peace as much as you can with allowing that to be your body's telling you something, and to be able to, if it takes sitting there, laying there with your eyes closed and just feeling into what's going on, because the body is the last place that things show up that have been denied or repressed or otherwise are trying to get us a message to us. And I'm sure the dreams were trying to get the message, and now the dream is turned into the living dream of your day-to-day reality. And I think it's really important that we try to make peace with it, not to say that it's going to continue into the future, but just say, I guess it's okay that I've arrived at this place. I've got to make peace with that and bring a loving energy into myself, that I appreciate myself just the way I am. It's okay that my teeth are falling out. I hate it, but it's okay. And now I'm going to ask my body to show me what it is I need to know to open my heart to receive my healing, to receive my wholeness. How do you do that, though? That's a whole other thing.
I don't think I'd actually say it's okay for the teeth to fall out. I think I would say that I'm okay with getting the message
I'm okay with getting the message.
Yeah,
then, okay.
getting the tooth falling out, leaving a message. That's good. I understand that.
Right.
And in fact, you and I remember for a number of episodes, particularly last summer, we talked about this issue from a lot of different angles. And one of the main questions that we were trying to kind of get to the bottom of was how do you make sense out of what the message is when it isn't clear to you what the message is? I mean, we try to say things like, I appreciate the message coming through. I appreciate what you're trying to tell me. But sometimes the message is right there and we can't see it. And I haven't asked you this in a while, Tom, but have you any later insights, anything that's come up in the last month or two that you thought of that helps us to get past, I don't know what the message is. I can't really tell what it's telling me.
Well, I think I have to get really quiet to hear what my beliefs are. But there's a belief that's behind everything. And, I've been reading Seth a lot, and they say constantly that it's all comes down to our beliefs, and so whatever you're telling yourself on some level, and they said, and it's always conscious. It's never really hidden from you, but you think it is. So that's another catch-22. Oh, really? So I have some kind of belief I'm running on myself that's keeping this situation alive. Mm-hmm. And because we're always creators, we're always capable of creating something new to change our situation. It's just these old beliefs that we believe in, that we believe them so strongly, and we repeat them so frequently to ourselves that they keep that situation in place.
Yeah.
So,
by the way, Jamie pointed out that Louise Hay's book says that toothaches are representations of indecision.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, and Sarah actually acknowledged that she's definitely tried to make peace with it. She doesn't understand why she was scared because it's not as bad as she thought, which is good. Good for you, Sarah, for doing that. But maybe look at, are there areas in your life where you've been indecisive and it's kind of turned into a negative spiral along that line? It's a good thought, a good thing to consider.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would wonder myself, if it was my dream, that my teeth were falling out, I would wonder if I was losing my faith in the fact that I could process things that I take in, that I could, because our teeth are used to process our nutrition. And if I felt like I can no longer masticate my very nurturing things that I need, it's like, and so that my teeth are losing their ability to serve me. I don't know. Teeth falling out is a very powerful. It's been in mythology for centuries and centuries. That image of losing one's teeth. It's very powerful. I had a shaman from Guatemala who used to talk about that. It was something in his village, and I can't remember. I wish I could what he said about it, though.
By the way, I have to give you credit. I think it's the first time I've heard the word masticate used in my life in a sentence during a real conversation. That's
I use it almost every day. Wow. It's just a word I love,
That's
I masticated an entire mastodon once. So.
Just don't get the bones in your teeth. That's all there is to it.
Oh my God!
Don't get the bones in your teeth.
God.
Or the teeth. Don't get the teeth in your bones.
Yeah, right. Anyway, we have another question. We have another question. So let's
did we really help her at all?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, she said.
Well, she has to help herself, but I want her to, hopefully said something that.
Well, I think by reaching out, you get, different perspectives, and that helps in itself. So
yeah.
So I think we help.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I would be extremely curious as to the beliefs that would lead to that kind of your body telling me something like that. Like, wow, what am I believing on some deep level that could eventually cause my teeth to fall out?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good point.
And the same like if you had cancer, like you got to ask yourself, or a heart condition or whatever, why would I why would I create this in myself, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a victim of anything.
Mm.
But my own choices. And even then, it's not about victimhood.
My own beliefs. And go ahead. So you were...
So, Yuki,
so there's another question?
Yeah, Yuki has a question. Yuki says, what do you recommend about trying to let go of disappointment? I lost my job and I've been trying to remain positive, but it's difficult to have the energy to get things done. So Yuki's going through some depression or something close to it.
Mm.
What do you guys think? Alyx, any ideas on that?
Go ahead, Alyx.
Well, you know my theory. Just cancel that feeling and keep it moving. On to the next job. Start looking for something that you love to do, and try to make a job out of that.
A job out of finding what you love?
Yeah, because then that way it's not work, because it's something you love. So, plus making money doing something you love is just the best of both worlds.
This is true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Shelley agreed with you too. Shelley's tuned in. She says, look at it as an opportunity to do better and get excited.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Kind of along the lines of what you're talking about.
I would say, remember that every moment is brand new. It always helps me to do that because I'm always only really going forward from this moment forward. And so, maybe write down the beliefs that you have about why you're disappointed. What are you telling yourself? What's the inner dialogue that you're telling yourself? And write that on one side of a page and with a line down the center of the page, and on the other side, in the same space across from it, write what's a new belief you could tell yourself that you would prefer to have going forward. A new, better feeling story.
Yeah.
And ask yourself, do I feel good about accepting that new story? Or do I need to sit for a while with this disappointment and let myself feel it and accept the fact that I feel sad? And it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel like, oh man, I wish that would have gone different. It feels shitty. It feels bad inside me. And feel it and be with it for a while. And when you're ready, move on. It's called grieving. It's a normal process. You grieve the loss of something. But you can, if that just becomes excessive, you can, and also like, one of us was saying, go out and do something different, completely different too, go and say to yourself, what do I really love in my life? And then try doing it for a while. And sometimes it takes a little while to change the momentum of disappointment into a momentum of excitement about something that you love. Like for me, I love to play guitar, but sometimes I don't think going and playing the guitar is going to make me feel better because I don't feel good. But I sometimes say, I'm going to go do it anyway. And I go do it, and if I stick with it for 10 or 15 minutes, all of a sudden I'm really digging it. And then it just takes me into another space.
Yep.
Or go out and go for a walk. Nature so much can pick us up,
Well, that's
if we let ourselves.
When we have a list of go-to items, I like to have a list of go-to items, usually a short list. But the things, the top 5 things that always give me some kind of a lift so that when something goes wrong, I can go do one of those 5 items. And, I mean, it's gotten to the point now where it's pretty easy for me to remember at least the first 2 or 3. I mean, it's nature walks, music, and doing podcasts. Those are my 3 things, and I love them. I mean, there are others too, but those are at the top of my list. And, those will get me a pickup like 95% of the time. If I'm having a really difficult time, then I'll pull out one of my Robin Williams videos and watch that and have him get me laughing. But just having that list available, a short list of items that you can go to just to give you a pickup, that can be really helpful. Because you know how it is when we're in a bad space, we forget what we're supposed to do. I mean, have you guys experienced that? You've experienced that, Alyx, right? I mean,
definitely.
You just kind of forget. You're supposed to be good at this thing, and all of a sudden everything just went right out the back of the brain. It's just gone.
And in somatic psychology, you also sit on your couch, sit in a chair, close your eyes, and feel where you feel that disappointment in your body. And get into the feeling of it, and just breathe into that, and just see what it feels like in your body as an observer. In other words, you put yourself in position of a witness, and you sit with it and say, okay, I feel it mainly in my stomach, or let's say you feel it in your neck or whatever, and then if you stay with it, it'll morph. These things will change. These feelings are not permanent unless we believe that somehow they have some kind of permanent state, and we keep reaffirming that we're stuck in that place. But if you go inside your body and you feel where you feel it, you'll notice it'll start to shift. And you breathe into it. The breath contains, your life force itself. And when you're in your breath, you can breathe into something and watch it begin to transform. And then you might get up out of that chair, off the sofa, and you feel a little different. And then you get an impulse. An impulse. You got to follow an impulse. Then when it comes, if it says, "Go get a cookie," go get a cookie. Or unless you got a problem and you don't want to eat another cookie. But but it might say, what could I do? What could I read? Maybe there's a book. And then you start looking at your books and you say, I've been wanting to read this forever. And you sit down and you read a couple chapters out of that book. But you follow your impulses. You let the feeling be, and then see what comes from your acceptance of the fact that that's inside you. It doesn't make you wrong that you're disappointed. It's completely normal to feel disappointed, and you make peace with it, and then see what comes next. Anyway,
the making peace thing is really big too, isn't it? Because
it's huge.
That's why you're allowing yourself to experience and kind of feel through the negative emotion in the first place, so you can make peace with it. That's the whole point.
Right.
And I noticed it was so interesting that Abraham said that so many times. They say, make peace, make peace, make peace.
Right.
That's how they say it. They make peace first with anything that's happening in your life, and be able to sit with it and feel into it. Breathe into it. I love the thing of breathing into it, and then see what evolves.
Why do you like breathing into it? What does that evoke for you?
Well, because I had this teacher from India for 45 years, and his entire thing is that inside the breath, everything is contained. It is who you are. It's literally your soul, your essences. And so it's the first thing that comes in the body. It's the last thing that leaves the body. It is where our soul lives. And if you understand that you are an infinite, eternal being, and you let your infiniteness caress yourself, let it caress your disappointment, let it caress your sadness, let it caress your whatever problem you have, you're actually hooking up to your divine energy, to the, we are huge. We're these universal-sized entities that are full of so much beauty and creativity. But we've got to give ourselves the benefit of remembering that. And the breath can be directed anywhere in the body, and it's a balm. It's like taking an essential oil and putting it on something on your body, and it's so healing. The breath is a healing force. If we understand that that's what it is, Look at how many people, like in childbirth, that's what gets that mother through that, is her breathing. And they say that when you're dying, if you just relax, and when you're dying, let your breath just be with your breath. You'll just go so smoothly and beautifully, because your breath is it's your loving self. That's you. And it's a wonderful thing. That's why meditation is so highly recommended by Abraham and so many people, because it's often the way to be with your breath. And
by the way, Yuki was definitely tapping into what we were talking about. Yuki said, I try to look at everything as a lesson. So what was the disappointment, loss of job trying to teach me? So definitely on the same wavelength as what you're talking about. And I also have to know. What was that?
I say we all have the answers within us of how to deal with everything that comes up. Everything is within us. We don't have to turn to books or anything. It's all there if we just get still enough with ourselves and make everything okay. Whatever's happening is life itself. The life itself has the answers for us constantly. If we can just relax. Now, I know I'm preaching, and forgive me for that. But I'm trying to convince myself that that's true, and I do believe it.
I think you probably do. Actually, Alyx, I wanted to ask you, what processes do you use to, if you fall into you feel yourself starting into that negative vortex, how do you climb out? What's your best way?
Laughter. Laughter is my very best way. So I find something good on TV, or I usually go to Netflix and look for like a stand-up special. Like there's always one coming out like every week. So
yeah,
that's my best way to do it.
That makes sense. Well, you're a comedian, so of course where else you're going to go, right? You go to your strength.
Yep.
Exactly.
Stephen Colbert gets me laughing every time he does another one on Trump, another one of his monologues on Trump. He's so funny.
Well, there you go. You can even take something that's really negative and turn it into a way to feel better, which is cool.
Yep.
By the way, a couple days ago, Siraj posted that he had this upcoming talk. He's used to giving talks to groups of like 30 or 40, but he has a talk coming up where he's talking to 500 people. And he was feeling nervous about it, and so we were giving him some ideas on, how to get excited and all that kind of thing. Well, he wanted to let us know that talk is coming up today. And
wow.
Yeah, so we wanted to say, go for it. Get excited.
Yeah.
This is going to be great.
Congratulations.
Before you get up there, sit there and breathe. Follow your breath.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I used to do. I spoke in front of 2,000 people once, and I was like a mess. I was like I could feel the sweat beads dropping off me. But when I got up in front of everybody, it was like I totally was just in a zone. It was like when an athlete goes into a zone,
Yeah.
and everything's just totally smooth.
Yeah.
But I was so terrified before I got up.
It's a common reaction.
So I breathed. That's what I did. I just did a lot of breathing and, best I could.
Yeah, well, that's what.
Yeah, the nervousness only comes before. But you just know that'll pass. And Tom's right. Once you get on stage, you go into a zone, and it's totally different, and you feel at ease and comfortable with everybody in there.
And an interesting thing too about anything. I mean, in your case, Alex, you've been doing comedy in front of groups of people too.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what it is, giving a talk, doing comedy, anything that you're doing like that, the first time that you go in front of any size group, you feel that fear. And then you do it a few times and the fear subsides. And then the group gets a little bit larger and then the fear kicks in. And then you go through it and the fear subsides. So really, we're basically reliving the same thing over and over again. But it's the same thing.
Yep.
And the experience tells us this too shall pass. It's not going to stay, right?
Yeah.
And fear is often, in those cases, I say it's excitement without the breath. That's the way Gay Hendricks described fear. It's excitement without the breath. Mm-hmm. And when you recognize that, I'm also just really excited to be getting up in front of all these people.
Yeah.
It's not just that I'm terrified and I'm going to blow it and.
Yeah, but also remember they're there to see you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So get excited about that.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, Joel told the story one time of how he had to speak in front of, I think it was 5,000 medical professionals talking about his basic topic about, positive thought and,
that's a huge one.
It's gigantic, and it had the effect on him that we've been talking about. Mm-hmm. And then he got out there, and he's giving his talk, and he sees these medical doctors in the audience taking feverish notes on what he's saying. And he realized he actually had something of real value to give them, and that calmed him down. So
that's what I'm saying. They're here to see you.
Exactly. Yeah, remembering that you actually do have something of value to give to somebody else.
Yes.
When you're doing that through your presentation or your comedy or whatever it is, that's a wonderful thing, and it's an empowering thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's.
And there's also a collective field that you're tapping into.
So
there's really there's quantum field exists between all of us.
Yes.
And when you tap into the fact that everyone is creating that moment together, it's not just you. It's like you're actually hooking in with all these other people's consciousness in a really wonderful way. So, that's also going to give you more enlightenment in your speaking or in your playing your music or you're doing your comedy. You're bringing something forward from that field, the collective field of all those people. You're becoming a focal point for that. And So there's that added grace, you might say, the added benefit of the fact that this isn't all on your shoulders.
Right.
It's just not you against the world. It's you with the world.
That's true.
It's you hooking into the unitive consciousness, that collective consciousness.
By the way, Suraj also mentioned, he expressed appreciation to what we were talking about, and he also gave a little detail about one of the reasons for him why looking forward to talking to this group was a little nerve-wracking. He says, for me, it's a technology-related talk, and I'm leading my company, and my company is expecting huge business from this talk or presentation. That's why I was in phobia. Well, that makes sense. You see this as an opportunity, and you're not really sure what's going to come out of it. I mean, is it going to really pay off the way you're hoping for? So, of course, you're feeling nervous about
it. It's
a
lot of pressure.
Yeah, and the way to take that pressure off is to say to yourself, anything that comes out of this is a benefit.
It's better than what you had before.
Anything that comes out of it, it doesn't matter what it is. Just the fact that you're sharing good information, and if it's technology related, these days, any good technology information that we can share with other technologists is going to produce wonderful results somewhere. So just start with that. Just start with that alone. And that'll get you into the frame of mind that you really need to be in. And then when you're in that frame of mind, well, then you actually start reaping the rewards that you're looking for. So it's getting in the frame of mind first, and then believing while you're in that frame of mind that what you have is valuable. What you have is good.
Yeah.
Right? It's like,
I agree.
It's like when you're doing comedy. You have to believe that what you're doing is helping people. It's helping them to laugh. It's helping to entertain them. It's helping them to relax, right? Isn't that part of your mindset when you get on stage?
Yeah, it's just you're up there for 5, 10, however many minutes, and you're there to take their mind off of whatever ails them or what's going on in their lives. Like, that's why they paid to come see you.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're a channel. That if you're open to the fact that when you wrote your speech or you wrote your comedy or you wrote your song, that you were receiving something from the universe, something beautiful. Something of value, like what Walt was saying, but then, knowing that it's bigger than just your mind and what your ego could come up with. There's something bigger taking place, and you're the delivery of it. You're the one who's the vehicle for it, but it's not all based on your self-identity and your self-worth, It's bigger than that.
That's where the mirror exercises and similar processes are so valuable. Journaling does the same kind of thing. Building up our own self-confidence and self-esteem by talking to ourselves or writing to ourselves or looking in the mirror and talking to ourselves gets us into a much higher level of confidence so that we don't look to the event to get our confidence. We bring the confidence in before we get there. So, doing those kinds of activities, especially on a regular basis, but even just the day of an event, do it before the event, will do an immense amount in terms of getting you into that right frame of mind so you're not as nervous. The nerves may even have gone away entirely, and you're confident that no matter what, you are really transmitting wonderfully useful information that's going to produce amazing results in some way. Starting with the idea that you're deserving, that you're loving of yourself, that you're a pretty good person.
Yeah. And there's help from the unseen realm, that source has got your back, as Abraham always says. Like, can you believe that there's something like universal consciousness that's got your back, that's much bigger than what you think you are, you're part of something, wonderful, and there's these unseen forces that care about you and love you, and they're supporting you. So you're not completely alone here,
That's a great point, because we often forget that source energy that we're connected to is where all the power that we have comes from, and that's what we got to let in. So you're right. We want to maintain and develop that connection with what I call my inner Walt, that inner part. Yeah.
Yeah. IW.
The IW, right.
IW.
My friend IW's got my back.
I love it. That's great. My IW. Okay, I'll have to remember that one.
For me, it's IT.
That's true.
It has got
IA for me.
IA, IA. Oh, that's exciting.
That's good. Good stuff. Well, I don't see any other questions. I see a lot of rave reviews. People are liking this. Sarah's appreciative of the help we gave her. Nasha's appreciative. A lot of appreciation going on. But we do have a couple minutes left because we kind of started late. So I want to make sure we get all our time in. I'll take a moment to do the usual promo messages. First of all, if you're not a subscriber yet, what are you waiting for? Become a subscriber. Really easy to do. Mm-hmm. The links are on the homepage of the website if you can't see them in the description where you're seeing this particular podcast recording or live stream. But they are on the homepage. Just go there and you'll see links for Android users and for Apple, iPhone, iPad users. Pick the right link, click it through, and it'll subscribe you. And then once you're subscribed, making sure that you're sharing the message helps us and helps you and helps a whole lot of people. So share it. Help people know that this program exists so that they can also get their daily dose of happy. And we're seeing the results of this, by the way. We're seeing more and more people tuning into the live stream, and I'm seeing more and more traffic coming in on the podcast recordings. So thank you for everybody who is doing that. It is starting to pay off, particularly now that we're past the holiday season. People they're listening in a bigger way now, which is good. So thank you for that. And also, feel free, even if you can't join us on a live stream, send in messages, emails, and use the contact form on the website or Facebook or Messenger, instant messaging or Twitter, tweets, whatever it is, send us messages and we'll incorporate them into the podcast. We love doing that. We love helping people out. So feel free to do that too. And and Tom, tell people how they can reach out to you in case they want a personal life coach, because that sometimes is useful. Sometimes you need somebody personal, one-on-one to talk to. Mm-hmm. How do they reach out to you?
Yeah, I would like to offer anybody who would like a free half-hour coaching session with me to go to my website, which is youarejoy.com, and that's the three words, youarejoy.com. And you can sign up there. There's a way to sign up on the website there for a free half-hour coaching, and to see if you might want to do some coaching with me, or just if you want to talk about something for a half hour.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. So, okay, we got a couple minutes left. Let's do one last round robin. What's the big takeaway today? I mean, it's a Friday. We're getting into a weekend, so that's where lots of happy things happen anyway. But we've also...
It's a freaking weekend.
It's a freaking weekend.
It's a freaking weekend.
But what's the big takeaway? Because we talked about some cool stuff here. What do you think is the best thing that we hit upon here, Alyx? I mean, what's the thing that really sticks out in your mind as... This is the one thing that, if I'm going to remember one thing coming away from this, this is the one thing I'm going to remember.
I can't think of the word, but peacefulness, being at peace with things.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That's huge, isn't it? Making peace,
that's everything.
Yeah, that's good. How about you, Tom? What's your big takeaway?
I think it's the remembering that everything's okay, no matter what it is, that life itself is consciousness and life is always working itself out, and that if I just sit with something that's difficult, it will morph, it will change. I can come to greater realization, and that the moment is always brand new. I always have a second chance every moment. Every second's a second chance.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Every second's a second chance.
I heard that from somebody else. Yeah, every second's a second chance.
That's good. That's good. I like that.
Put it on a T-shirt.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to put you in charge of
we do sell T-shirts, by the way.
You do sell T-shirts?
No. We should.
We should.
We're going to start.
Yeah,
we're going to start selling T-shirts.
That's true.
Could be a Waldman coming up
that
with
could be our big income stream.
Yeah.
I love it. That's great.
It's all about the merch.
It's all about the merch. Okay. See, here I thought it was all about making peace.
You could have a mug, an Alyx King mug, a Walt mug.
I know, right? Imagine having coffee with my face on it every morning.
Yeah, with your headset on. Yeah. Look she's my favorite radio star.
There you go.
It's Alyx King.
There's a comedian out there called Gary Owen, and he has his own cup where it's one of those like the picture comes on as the cup heats up. So every morning he has an Instagram of his pouring the coffee in, and then his face coming up slowly. And I was like, I need one of those in my life.
Yeah.
I don't drink coffee, but dang it, I need one.
You could put something in there, yeah.
I put hot cocoa in it.
Yeah, chicken soup.
Yes, chicken soup.
On that happy note, chicken soup is always a good note to end on. So I'm going to say thank you guys for all your input, and thank you to our wonderful listeners for listening and for sharing comments and questions on the live stream. And we'll see you all next time here on LOA Today. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.